Last week, Facebook wiped out an entire section of their Facebook groups. No warning, entire audiences lost overnight, and that's gotta hurt. We're gonna talk today about the one marketing asset that they can't take from you, email marketing, and why it's still relevant in 2025. But before we do,
stop burning cash on campaigns that flop and quit watching buyers bail for your competitors. Get ads that turn your prospects into brand fanatics that devour your every offer, shun your competition, and do your selling for you. The problem's not your offer, your targeting, or your creative. It's the played out marketing guru's playbook that's broken. If you're selling high ticket in a highly competitive or highly regulated market, you need something different. Discover what's actually working now at cultishcontent.com/campaigns. If you're done with launching to crickets, make your next campaign cultish. Go to cultishcontent.com/campaigns today. And now back to the show.
welcome back to Cultish Content. I'm Nathan Frazier.
And I'm Lily Elizabeth.
And today we're going to be talking about email marketing, which in 2025, people often say email marketing is dead. I would argue that email is still your most valuable marketing asset. And we're going to get into why I still believe that and how we email a little bit differently than most people do, and some of the tips on how to get your emails delivered, how to get your emails opened, and how to still be getting sales through email in 2025. Lily.
Hello.
You do about 75% of our email marketing, and we still crush it with email.
Oh, yeah.
In an era where almost everybody else is saying, I never read emails anymore, but we still collect a lot of cash off of our emails.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and just dive into, first of all, I want to rub some salt in the pain point, in the wound of what Facebook just did last week, which overnight they deleted. One of my friends had a Facebook group of 3.5 million people in it and lost his entire audience and can't get him back. Appealed to Facebook. Facebook doesn't respond.
Worse than a heartbreak.
I know, right? Can you imagine building a 3.5 million person audience and then having it just taken away from you overnight?
Oh my God.
Not good. And the reason that they did this, it seemed to be exclusively making money with AI type groups that were deleted. And it was a lot of them. And I have a lot of friends that are in the making money with AI market.
Yeah.
And almost every single one of them lost. The one that I know, the biggest one was the 3.5 million. But one thing about email is you own the list. They can't just take that. Even if your account gets shut down, you can still download your list.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the first thing is, if you are email marketing, be constantly updating your list. Download your list as a file that you have all of the access to, all of the names, all of the emails, all of the data. But again, it's one of those things. Facebook doesn't give you that. When you build a group on Facebook, School is a little bit more. They let you have the contact information. They let you export all of the contact information. But most of these, if you lose your Instagram account, you have no access to all of the audience that you built. If you lose your Facebook account, if you lose your Facebook group, you instantly lose access to that entire audience, which is a huge pain point, which is one of the reasons why email is still my favorite thing to build a list with. And so let's go ahead and just jump into, I think the biggest pain point for email marketing is, especially with how often things change nowadays, making sure that your emails are actually getting delivered instead of sent to the spam box or to the
promotions tab.
Yeah, exactly. We want to stay out of spam. We want to stay out of promotions. We want to stay in the main email inbox. And one of the tips that I didn't put on here that I'm going to give away is, in your sign-up forms, instead of just asking for email, ask for best email. They allow you to put the text in there. Don't just say, what's your email? Ask what your best email is, and you'll 5 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you'll get their best email, so that you're not getting, a lot of times people will set up a fake email just to get free things.
Me.
Exactly. But if you just ask, hey, give me your best email so I can make sure that this gets to you, that's one way to make sure that your emails actually get delivered. Let's talk about a couple of other ways to ensure that your emails are actually getting delivered.
Let's do it. I like what you have here. You have use a custom domain or subdomain. Never send from your Gmail. I think that's important. I want something instantly recognizable, easy to remember. So if you're sending me from lily@gmail.com, you're not going to know that's Lily. Like, you're not going to know that's Lily Elizabeth from your social media that's harassing you.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're sending me a personal email and I know that it's from you and it's gmail.com, that's fine. But if you're sending me somebody, I'm fresh to your list and I'm not familiar with you, I want to know that it's coming from the website that I signed up at.
Yeah.
So if I signed up at lilymultimedia.com,
Totally.
plug for lilymultimedia.com. If I signed up there and I see an email that is from lily@gmail.com, I'm like, who's this Lily? But if I see that it's Lily from lilymultimedia.com, I instantly know, oh yeah, this is that thing that I signed up for.
And you honestly, you made a good point in these show notes. You say something like, they can strike your account.
They can. All of the email service providers, Constant Contact, MailChimp, GetResponse, they'll actually tell you, hey, do not use a Gmail account when you set up your account, because if you use a Gmail account, it hurts deliverability and they want it coming from your professional email account.
That makes sense. So unless it's a personal email, you can send with your personal domain. But if it's to a mass amount of people, then you definitely want to use your business or something instantly recognizable.
Yep.
Yeah. A good rule of thumb, at least what I like to use, is your name at yourcompaniesname.com. Easy.
And I would go actually a step further than that.
Ooh.
A lot of times we set up a mail subdomain, so it'll be nathan@mail.copyandfunnels.com or
Cool.
nathan@mail. And the reason that we do that is if you set up a subdomain and your main account gets struck for spam, or if your subdomain gets struck for spam, it doesn't strike your main domain.
Okay.
So if you want to keep yourself extra safe, setting up a messages contact mail.maindomain.com, that's an extra layer of protection.
I like it.
In case one of them gets shut down, your whole domain doesn't get flagged. It's just that one subdomain that gets flagged. So that's an extra tip. Use your main business domain and use a subdomain of that if you want an extra layer of protection.
Perfect.
All right, some other tips and tricks to make sure that your emails actually get delivered, and this wasn't required, but now it is required, is setting up your SPF, your DKIM, and your DMARC, DMARC. And these are text codes that they want you to put on your server to make sure that your emails are actually coming from your server.
Okay.
So what spammers have figured out how to do is send an email from their email, but make it look like it's coming from your email.
Sneaky.
Yeah, so it looks like it's coming from Comcast.net or electriccompany.com, and it's really not. It's coming from some email address registered in like Indonesia.
Oh no.
Shout out to all the Indonesian scammers out there. But when you look at it, when you go to check your emails, it looks like it came from Comcast.net or electriccompany.com. And so you click on it, trusting it, and it's really from somebody else. So to prevent that spoofing, they put encryption codes in. I think DKIM was the first one. Then they added DMARC, and now they've added SPF. They'll probably add more as we go.
I'm sure.
But that's one way to make sure that people can't send, hey, I've got this cool offer from lilymultimedia.com,
right,
and you didn't send it. Somebody else sent it. So adding those layers of encryption when you set up your email delivery is one way to make sure that people keep opening your emails and don't get emails from scammers using your name.
I like that. This is definitely the boring part of email marketing. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's so important for deliverability. I mean, you won't be showing up in their inbox if you don't do these 3 steps.
Exactly. And one of the things too is a lot of the email providers now is if you don't have those set up, it'll tell you, right, it'll tell the people that you're mailing to right at the top, this email was actually sent from a mailing list, just as a warning. And that makes people say, I don't know if I can trust this, even though they can. So just keep yourself protected. make sure that you have your SPF, your DKIM, and your DMARC put on your website. And if you don't know how to do this yourself, there's people out there that can figure it out. If you go to ChatGPT or if you go to Google, you can figure out how to do this. It does take a little bit of time. It's boring. It's not the fun part of email marketing, but it is a crucial part of making sure that your emails actually get delivered.
I love it.
All right, let's talk about this last one. And this is probably the biggest offender that I see businesses when I come in and start working with businesses. This is the thing that always drives me crazy because they're always sending these type of emails.
Oh, no.
And I have to break the habit right away.
Yeah.
And let's talk about something that instantly triggers in the reader, this is an ad.
Yeah. Corporate style emails, flashy designs, tons of colors. Something that screams it's an ad. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you get those emails and there's pictures and there's borders and there's different color bolded font, and you look at it and immediately say, this looks like an ad.
Yeah.
When I open an email and I can tell with just a glance that it's an ad, I'm not even going to bother reading it. If I get an email from you, it's usually just text.
Totally.
It's, hey, check this out. I just saw this new thing. You got to check this out.
Super simple, quick, easy to read.
Yes. If I get an email that comes from you and it's all filled with all kinds of flashy stuff, I'm like, oh, email, Lily's doing the bad email marketing thing again. And I don't even bother reading it because I can tell just at a glance that it's an ad.
Totally.
The other problem is the inboxes can also tell that it's an ad.
Yeah, you mentioned they can flag you. They can spot those images and all those different flashy designs and put you right in the promotion tab.
Yeah, so if they see that there's a bunch of HTML coding inside of the email, if they see that there's a bunch of images, a bunch of bolded and multicolored texts, immediately that tells Gmail or Yahoo or whoever, immediately tells them, hey, this is probably an ad. And that's one of the things that will get your emails sent over to the promotions tab.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So not only can we tell it's an ad,
so can the algorithm.
So can the algorithm. So to stay out of the promotions tab, one of the most important things is to make your emails look like an actual email rather than an ad or a newsletter or something like that.
I like that. I will say, one thing I always do in my emails, no matter what they look like, is double space it. I want it to be so easy to read and easy to consume.
Yeah, that's just a basic copywriting tip.
Yeah.
Is if I open up an email and it's just a big wall of text, it looks like a lot of work. But if I can see that it's just a bite and then a bite and a bite, bunch of little bite-sized nuggets that I can slowly work my way through, I'm much more likely. I'll read at least that first little bite. And if you get me with the first little bite, I'll read the second little bite. If you get me by the second one, I'm going to read the whole thing.
I like that. Be nice. Be nice to my eyes. I'm bombarded with ads every single day. Okay. I don't need any more.
Exactly.
Help me out here.
So let's go ahead and actually, I like this. You brought up the Chinatown.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little bit of a stretch, but ad fatigue totally gives me Chinatown vibes. When every single person, have you ever been to Chinatown?
I've been to Chinatown.
Okay, cool. So you get the vibe I'm talking about. Every single person is trying to pull you every which way, take you in different alleys and all these weird places, and they're just trying to get inside your pocket. They don't ask you what you want or what you're looking for. They don't care.
It feels like you're just getting yelled at.
Yeah.
And and it's whoever can yell the loudest. And a lot of people do that with their marketing. If I can be the flashiest, the brightest, the loudest, I'll be the one that they actually read the email. But it's actually the opposite. It's the subtle, it's the friendly, it's the actual personal connection that gets people to continue opening your emails.
Yeah, the person I want to be my friend. I like that.
I don't like the overwhelm of Chinatown where my senses are just bombarded. And what that actually does to me and most people, I think, is it makes me shut down.
Your guard is up.
Yeah, it puts up my guard. It puts up brick walls, and it makes me become defensive and not receptive to your message. So if you want me to be receptive to your message, don't do the Chinatown method of marketing for sure.
Perfect.
Let's go ahead and move on to, so these are tips that'll help you actually get delivered, and let's move into things that'll actually get your emails opened.
Cool. Let's do it.
All right. So first one, subject. You know what? Before we get into subject lines, I'm going to say this. Everybody focuses on subject lines. The number one thing that will get emails opened is the sender. If I know the sender, because that's the first thing I'm going to see. Who is this from?
Lily@gmail.com. Yeah.
No, Lily Elizabeth. If I know the person that sent it and I've opened their emails before and I enjoyed reading them, then I'm much more likely, regardless of the subject line. So we will talk about subject lines, but I think the first thing is, who is this coming from? Do I know you? Do I like you?
Do I trust you?
Yeah. Have I been watching you on TikTok? Have I been following you on YouTube or Instagram? If those things are all a yes, have I been listening to your podcast? I might not even need to see your subject line. If I just see that it's from you, more likely, yeah. So sender reputation, who this is coming from, is probably the most important thing. After that, subject line. So let's talk about subject lines and how you can make your subject lines more appealing and more likely to get clicked on.
I like it. My number one rule is to evoke curiosity. Keep it short, 40 to 60 characters, easy to read so it's not falling off the page and I have to work to read it.
So a lot of marketers think that personal interest, save 20% this weekend only. Oh, I get to save. Or here's how you get this one thing. We think that personal interest is the most powerful motivator. But the truth is curiosity. What makes you stay watching a movie or keep reading a good book?
Oh, yeah.
What makes a person irresistible? If you're dating somebody and they just spill their whole life story on the first date, there's no reason for a second date. If they leave a bunch of open loops, though, and you're like, I want to get to know this person a little bit better.
I'm stuck. I got to find out more.
Exactly.
How does this end?
Curiosity, opening up a curiosity. And the way that you do this and not come off like a marketer is kind of like if I was going to send you an email and I saw something cool on cool hack for social media.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lay out the whole hack in the subject line.
Right.
I'd say, Lily, check this out. Check what out?
I got to click.
If it's from Nate, it's probably important. And he says, check this out. Now my brain's like, check what out? I got to click. If it's Lily, I found this cool hack. You got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then you got to do this. And that's the subject line.
I already know what to do.
Yeah, there's no reason. So just a quick, hey, check this out. Hey, I saw this and I thought about you. Hey, have you heard about this yet? Those type of subject lines convert and get people to open way better than save 20% all weekend long. So curiosity over personal interest, even though everybody preaches personal interest is the most important thing, curiosity is the thing that keeps people coming back for more.
I love this. And I feel like it has more to do with the copy in the email rather than your subject line. But if every time someone opens an email from you and it's valuable information, good tips and tricks, it almost trains them to come back for more value every time.
Exactly.
And yeah, they'll go out of their way to do it.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If every time I see an email from Lily Elizabeth and I click on it and there's something cool in it, next time I don't even have to see the subject line. I just know the last 5 times I've opened an email that said Lily Elizabeth, I'm clicking on the next one.
I like that.
All right.
That's the goal.
That is the goal. We want people, we're training people like Pavlov's dogs over here. The next thing that, you know what, we're going to continue on this train of thought.
Cool.
Use curiosity to get people to open the emails.
Okay.
And then inside of the emails, give away 90% and leave them curious for that other 10%. Do you read a lot of books?
I do.
Okay. So at the end of a chapter in a book, they'll usually end on a cliffhanger. And then you have to go to the next chapter. Next thing you know, it's 3:00 in the morning. And you're like, why am I still reading? Netflix, binge-worthy TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. They get you interested in the first 30 seconds of the show. You're like, oh, I got to see what happens. You watch the whole show. You get closure on the one thing that they started.
Yeah.
But before the episode ends, they say, okay, now here's what you got to wait till next week for.
Oh, yeah.
Or next episode for. So opening those loops and getting people to click, opening the loop and getting people to read, closing the loop and then opening another loop. Now, if you really want to know the final part of how this works, click here and go check out what I have for you on the other side of the click.
The best example of opening and closing loops that I could think of is the Marvel movies. How after every single movie, after the credits, they wait for the real fans to wait. And they'll show you a sneak peek of what's going to happen in the next movie.
Yep.
You got to watch it. You got to wait till next year or whenever it comes out.
Yeah, the movie closes and then the credits start rolling, and then in the middle of the credits, they have another scene that teases what's coming next.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets all hyped. Okay, I got to go see the next movie now.
Exactly.
Yep. So curiosity, use curiosity in your headlines, use curiosity in your copy, use curiosity to get people to take that next step. So freaking important. Next thing too, and we kind of covered this, but make your subject lines not sound like a promotion.
Totally.
And more just sound like, hey, if I was going to send this email to Lily, how would I title this email? If I was going to send it. So a lot of times when I'm doing my subject lines or my copy in general, I'm just thinking about, hey, who's the one person that I want to read this email?
Okay.
And how would I write to them? How would I talk to them? If I wanted my mom to open this email, or if I wanted my best friend Drew to open this email, what would I say to them to get them to open this email? And leave it at that. You don't have to overthink it. You just got to say, if I was just sending this to a friend, to just one person, how would I write it? And that usually will perform better than overthinking, and I got to add a little bit of persuasion and a little bit of manipulation, and works way better if you just write your emails as if they were coming from a friend.
I like that. I think it's a very important mindset shift to not write like it's coming from a salesman, because as the reader, I'd like to open a message from a friend over a salesman any day.
Salesperson. Okay. All right. We don't want to get canceled here. And this also kind of goes back to, just to reemphasize it, those save 20% or you'll never believe what happened when, clickbaity, overly promotional, they don't get opened. They immediately, before I even click on it, it screams ad, it screams marketing. But if you just evoke a little bit of curiosity and you sound like you're one of my friends emailing me, always works better than what people naturally want to do. Last one, capital letters.
Yeah.
This was something that even you, when you first started emailing, I had to break this habit in you.
I love it.
What's the biggest thing that screams promotional that people do with their subject lines?
Title case is a big one. If you capitalize the first letter of every single word, I don't text Nate like that. And I'm pretty sure you don't text your friends like that too, unless you're Kodak Black.
Yes. So if you write your subject lines like people write headlines, because we're used to seeing the beginning of the message, everything has to be the title for a book. It's all capitalized, or the first letters are always capitalized.
True.
Headlines on a sales letter, the first letters are always capitalized. So when people first get into email marketing and years into their path of email marketing, they'll title cap every first letter of every single word.
Oh, yeah.
But when I see that in my inbox, I immediately know this one's a promotional email versus this one's from a friend. You don't want to scream promotion just by the subject line.
At first glance.
Exactly. So if you want your emails opened, these are some things that you can do to your subject lines to make sure people actually click on them.
Cool.
All right.
Solid.
So we talked about deliverability. We talked about how to get people to actually open your emails. Let's get a little bit more into how to keep people reading your emails.
Okay, cool. We kind of touched on this earlier. No big walls of text. I like the double spacing, easy on the eyes, easy to consume and read.
Mm-hmm. A little bit further into that.
Yeah.
I usually make sure that, and these are just basic copywriting rules.
Yeah.
But I make sure that my sentences are as short as possible.
Ooh, I like that.
I make sure that my sentences are broken up, no compound sentences. I don't want to put more than one idea per sentence. If I'm trying to get two ideas, I break it into two sentences. No $10 words. I'm not trying to impress them with how intelligent and how good my vocabulary is. I want to make sure it's easy to read. I try to shoot for like a third or a fourth grade, fifth grade at the max reading level. Even if I'm like writing for fintech, if I'm writing for like a financial newsletter,
right?
And my people are college educated, I'm still going to make it as easy to read as possible. Use small words, small sentences, small paragraphs broken up. And I don't know, I'm going to date myself. There used to be this show called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Have you ever seen it?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Most people are not smarter than a fifth grader. Even college educated people, don't have the retention of information past the grade of a fifth grader.
Oh no.
And people failed that show all the time. And you have to remember that when you're email marketing or when you're marketing in general, most people are not smarter than a fifth grader. So if you're writing at a sixth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth grade level, most people are going to struggle reading it. And so keep your writing as easy to read as possible.
When you said fintech, it made me think of a whole bunch of people who have to read through so much information every day. So if you can be the one person that delivers value in a short amount of time, I'll love you forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Let's actually move on to that one. Make it quick and easy to read.
Yeah.
A lot of people nowadays, when they check their emails, they're at the movie theater and the movie's about to start and they click on their emails.
Totally.
They're at the bank and they're waiting in line and they click their emails.
First thing in the morning on the toilet.
Yes. They're waiting for their food to be delivered and they check their emails real quick.
Yep.
They're not hovering over their computer, giving you all of their attention. They're like, oh, I got an email from Lily. I better give it all of my attention for the next 45 minutes. No, that's not the mindset that people are in when
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's not the mindset people are in when they're checking their emails. They're waiting for their food. They're waiting for them to be called up next in line. They're on the toilet.
In traffic.
Hopefully not in traffic.
know.
But it's the world we live in. But they've got 40 seconds. Yeah, they're waiting at the stoplight. They've got 40 seconds. So if your email takes longer than 40 seconds to read, chances are they're not going to get to the call to action. So we want to keep our emails quick and easy to read. 300 to 500 words is kind of the max for lift emails. If it's a sales email and I got to do a lot of persuading, saying I'm doing an affiliate offer to somebody else's list or an affiliate offer for my list for something that they're not familiar with already, that might be a little bit longer of an email. Rely on some long form sales copy that way. But generally my daily or my every other daily emails going to be quick, easy to read, and get to the point as quick as possible.
Don't forget, your readers have tons and tons of competing emails to read through. So if you can get them information in a short amount of time, you're definitely number one.
Exactly. All right. The next one on this list that I see people make a huge mistake of is having multiple calls to action in their emails. Newsletters still do this, and it drives me insane when I open up an email and they're like, here's an article about this. Here's an article about this. If I click any of those articles, I'm probably going to get lost in it and I'm never going to come back to your email.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I'll forget what you asked me to do in the first place because you asked me 5 different things and told me 5 different directions.
Exactly. And if you really want me to do one thing, if you want me to check out, say you do a newsletter and you're like, here's this article from New York Times and here's this article from Science Daily and here's this article from, and then at the very bottom, it's, by the way, if you enjoy our work, here, go to our Patreon and subscribe. Well, you just gave me, instead of a 1 out of 1 chance of me clicking the Patreon link and going and subscribing, you gave me 5 other options. So you just reduced the possibility that I'm going to do what you actually want me to do by down to 20%.
Gee.
Yeah. So 1 call to action in every email. Don't confuse people. And I might not even click anything because I'm overwhelmed. I'm in Chinatown getting screamed at by 8 different directions. I just want to go home now. I'm emotionally overwhelmed.
Yes, me too.
The other thing about this too is if Google, if you deliver to Gmail and Google says, oh, there's 8 calls to action in this email. Spam, put it in the promotional folder. So all of these things that trigger to us, it might be spam, it might be promotional, also triggers back to Google, Yahoo, all of the email inboxes, triggers to them, hey, this might be promotional. And so all of these things will not only send up red flags for the reader, but will also send up red flags for the inbox.
Gee, there's no winning there.
There is no winning there. I mentioned this word. This is something that I got when I was working on a project with Joe Schriefer from Agora Financial. He has this term called lift emails. So a lot of marketers, Every single email is a marketing message. Hey, if you're dealing with this trouble and you want this solution, but you ran into this brick wall, let me tell you this story about this guy who invented, or girl, don't get canceled, who invented this new solution. Here's why it works. Here's a scientist in a lab coat that proves that it works. Here's our white paper that also shows that it works with people just like you. If you want more information, every single email is like that. People get bored of reading those. After the third one, they're like, I'm never opening an email from this person again.
Yeah, not to mention they're already bombarded every day with sales emails, ads, all of it outside of your email too. So you're not the only one trying to hit them.
Yeah. So rather than trying to sell in the email, every single email, what we like to do is we like to send what are called lift emails, where the only thing we're trying to do is sell the click. We're trying to give you enough of a reason to sell the click to get you over to the sales page, or not always a sales page, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But these emails are not just sales messages. These emails there's a couple of different ones that we like to send out in kind of a rotation.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into, to avoid constantly bombarding our people with sales messages, the other types of emails that we send out.
There's a few good ones you got here. You got quick tips, pain point reminders, goodwill emails, and belief shifting emails.
Okay, so let's jump into each one.
Cool.
Quick tip emails. These are generally, I like to give away like 80% of how to get something accomplished. So, hey, you need to know these 5 things if you want to get result. And then there's this one secret thing. Go ahead and click over here and I'll tell you about that as well.
Perfect.
Those ones, they give people the sense of empowerment. They make people feel encouraged. And then they say, I just need that one last piece and I'll be able to accomplish this. And then you get them over to wherever, whether it's a YouTube video, your actual sales message. But a quick tip email, even if I don't click through, if I just get those 4 out of 5 pieces, I'm 80% more empowered to go into my day and do the thing that I need to do. So quick tip emails are one of my favorite ones to keep in rotation. Pain point emails. Let's go ahead and talk about these because these ones also do really well. Okay, so those are quick tip emails. The other ones that we keep in rotation are pain point emails. And let's kind of get into those.
Yeah, so pain point, I like to think of visualizing a heaven and a hell. Like, this is how bad your problem is, and this is how bad it can get. Don't let it get that bad. Let me show you the way. So
a lot of times if we have something that we know is a problem, but it's not like a pressing problem, it's like there's a monster in the corner of the room.
Ooh.
And I can see it out of my peripheral vision, but I'm not super concerned because I'm focused on watching the Netflix show or whatever.
Totally.
I'm not going to take action. But if all of a sudden somebody paints a vivid picture of that monster and they're like, oh my God, it's got venom dripping off of its fangs and it's got sharp nails with blood all over it, and there's flesh hanging out of its mouth and it's walking towards you, and if you don't do something right now, it's probably going to kill you.
What can I do?
Exactly. So not just pointing out the pain point, but rubbing salt in that wound, making it as painful as possible, and then saying, hey, I've got a shotgun. Click this link and I'll get you that shotgun right now. Those type of emails will get people to take action when they've just kind of been sitting on the fence thinking about whether or not they should take action.
I love pain point emails.
We send out a lot of pain point emails and they work very well. Okay, so the next type of emails that we like to keep in rotation are goodwill emails.
Oh, yeah.
And these are emails where we're not even going to try and make a pitch at all. We're just going to give something valuable.
Ooh.
And I'm still going to have a link in them, but instead of a link to my sales page, it might be a link to a cool YouTube video that I just watched that I think will help them.
Yeah.
Or it might be a link to a blog post or something where I'm just going to give something away. I'm just going to give you goodwill. I'm not trying to get anything out of you. And these work well because they also just keep people trained to opening your emails.
Yeah, providing value every time you open this email. Come back for more.
Yes. And the reason why I link out to a podcast episode or a YouTube video is because I do want people trained on clicking the link at the end of the email. Every time I click the link, I get something good so that when I do have a sales message, a promotional email, you're trained to click the links. But when I usually use these ones is generally after I've done a promotion. So if I've been promoting a course all week and Friday and Saturday, I sent 8 emails out. Hey, get this, get this, get this.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I might just send 3 goodwill emails in a row just to rebuild up that emotional bank account with people so that they don't feel burnt out and they feel like, oh, yeah, they sold me all week, but the next 3 emails were just pure goodwill. It helps kind of rebuild that trust with your audience.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not constantly trying to sell you something. I switch it up, and sometimes I just want to give you something.
Exactly. Okay, so last one, and this is the one that we do, and it's kind of like a cultish exclusive thing. I don't see very many people doing this, but belief shifting emails.
Okay.
So a lot of times, the reason people aren't buying is because something that they believe. They believe that your market is filled with scammers. They believe that they have the wrong type of metabolism to make the program work for them. They believe that because of their childhood trauma, this solution will never work for them. They have these different beliefs that prevent them from buying. And what we do a lot of times in our emails is shift those beliefs. In order to make a purchase decision, these are the things that you need to believe. You need to believe that it actually works, that it'll actually work for you, that I'm somebody who was just like you, so you can trust me, that so-and-so was just like you and they had a similar problem, the same thing that you think is your exclusive problem, but they were able to make it work for them. There's a bunch of different beliefs that people have that stop them from buying. And a lot of times the emails that we'll send out are just focused on reframing that belief so that now you don't believe the thing that's stopping you and you believe the thing that will empower you.
It almost makes me feel like we're giving our readers the confidence to go and get yours or do your thing, whatever you're trying to sell them on.
Exactly. So having these in rotation, having the quick tip emails, having the pain point emails, having the goodwill emails, having the belief shifting emails, mixed in with your actual promotional emails where you're actually selling, having kind of a good healthy mix of these. That's 5 emails. You could send out an email every single day. You only actually do selling 1 email per week. People keep reading your emails because they get a variety. It's not the same message every single day.
Yeah.
And the quick tips, the pain points, the goodwill emails, and then the belief shifting emails, and then followed up with a direct sales email makes those direct sales emails way more impactful.
I like that. All those goodwill emails end with something like, if you think this is cool, go check this out over at. And then a sales email would be get yours now kind of thing.
Exactly. So again, that's a good point. We probably should have covered that.
Yeah.
The call to action at the end of a regular lift email is, hey, if that makes sense, go check this out. Or, hey, if you want more, go check this out.
Yeah.
Usually in our direct sales emails, we're going to close a little bit harder. Instead of just a soft lift to the page we want them to go to,
Totally.
we're going to say, hey, you want to get yours? Make sure you get it before they sell out. Click here, get yours now.
Beautiful.
But those are our best tips for making sure that your emails actually land in the inbox, get opened, and get sales in 2025. What about you? What's your best tip for email marketing? Let us know in the comments. Before we're out of here, do me a favor. If you like this video, let me know. Hit that like button. If you want to catch more videos like this, smash that subscribe button. If you know a business owner or a marketer who could benefit from what we talked about in today's video, share it with them. And check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommending. I bet you'll dig them.